Kwame Rose here live for the Real News Network in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Black Resistance DNC March. I'm here with one of the organizers, Megan Malachi. Megan, tell me the purpose for organizing this rally here today.
Yeah, the purpose is just to expand upon the work that we've been doing for years, and that is against police terrorism, specifically in Philadelphia, and also issues of stop and frisk, gentrification, and just the economic disparities that exist in the African American community.
Well, Megan, obviously the Democratic National Convention is going on this week here in Philadelphia. What are some of the issues that the community in Philadelphia is tackling as thousands of lawmakers and delegates are here for essentially a celebration of democracy?
Well, we're tackling everything that we're talking about in this march. Again, police terrorism. We're tackling issues of gentrification, which is, very pervasive here in Philly. Also, issues with our education system that is been crazily defunded. Issues with just economics in general in terms of high unemployment and lack of jobs.
Megan, some of you and your colleagues, we had a conversation earlier about an incident that happened in Baltimore where you felt as though the voices of women and transgender folks involved in the Black Lives Matter movement were being silenced and weren't being allowed to have a platform. Is the Black Lives Matter movement, is it one of inclusion for the groups that you all said were being not represented in Baltimore?
I think that the Black Lives Matter movement, and I think we need to be clear about speaking about the organizations that exist, but then also the broader movement, which has other organizations other than BLM. But I think a lot of them are just reflections of society. And so I think in a lot of ways, we're still battling with misogyny, misogynoir, as I like to call it. We're also still battling with transphobia and heterosexism, just like the broader community. But I think as revolutionaries and as, activists, it's our duty to truly be intentional about tackling those things. And here in the coalition and other organizations in Philadelphia, we have explicitly stated that we are against misogyny, we are against transphobia, and we are against heterosexism. So that's something that we are truly intentional about fighting for here in our space.
Megan, last night, Michelle Obama talked about the fact that her two black daughters will now be able to see a woman become president, essentially in Hillary Clinton. I don't know if you had a chance to watch Michelle Obama's speech, but what are your thoughts on her essentially saying, my black daughters, and then endorsing Hillary Clinton, who we know hasn't responded the very best to the Black Lives Matter movement or folks involved in the larger movement?
I think it's unfortunate, but I don't think that Hillary Clinton or honestly Michelle Obama really speaks to the conditions or the aspirations of the black masses. Michelle and Barack Obama, they are part of the black exceptions, people who have made it, people who have a certain level of economic privilege, and I don't think that they're really truly connected to what is happening to people living in the worst conditions in our society. And so, yeah, it's amazing for Michelle and her daughters that they can, see this white liberal feminist in the White House, but that's not going to do anything for poor and oppressed black, Latina, and Asian women who do not have that type of access. So I don't see any reason why those groups of women would be proud to see Hillary. In fact, I think it's kind of a slap in the face for them. And
who would you like to see as president that you think would represent the issues best?
I think that right now we have some great third-party candidates. A lot of people are really excited about Jill Stein's campaign, but personally I'm really in favor of the Moorhead Lilly campaign. They're with Workers' World. They're just a really dynamic group of socialist-minded, economic justice-minded, and also racial justice-minded comrades that we have who are really speaking to the issues that we were talking about tonight. But, I think that in terms of us electing third-party candidates and even fourth or fifth-party candidates will definitely take a long time, but this is part of the political education that is a major aspect of what we do in our organizing here.
And finally, we've noted that several times that at the RNC, protesters were met by police officers dressed in like RoboCop riot gear. How are police relations with organizers here holding protests in Philadelphia, not just this week, but in previous weeks? Is it aggressive? What's the atmosphere in the community relationship like that?
I think that whenever you're out in the streets in a major city speaking out against police terror, the police are going to respond in a violent manner, and that is traditionally what we've seen here. People have another view of Philadelphia because of Charles Ramsey and his whole like Barack Obama and 21st policing initiative, but that hasn't really meant anything to those of us who are on the streets. The police are very antagonistic. The police have, beat our people. The police have arrested people unjustly, and also just, the typical repression that, of course, we saw in Baltimore is something that we deal with here in Philly on a daily basis.
I talked to one black police captain the other day who referenced that the police have made significant improvements since the bombing of MOVE in Philadelphia. 31 years ago, Philadelphia police essentially dropped a bomb on a house where activists lived. Women, children, and men were killed during that. How do you think that the police relations since then has progressed? Has it at all?
I think that when people who are in charge of policing have to reference the MOVE bombing to judge how far we supposedly have come with policing, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, you literally had the police district was being funded by taxpayers drop a bomb on someone. They're supposed to be happy that, okay, you guys have stopped dropping bombs on us, but you're doing other things in a more covert manner that are equally as suppressive and equally as bad. And so, even though we might not have the image of black people being bombed out of their house like we did back in '85 in Philly, the police are still operating in very oppressive and very violent ways that every Philadelphian knows about. And it's, quite clear this is just a part of their public relations campaign to make themselves seem as if they are protecting the rights of protesters when they're actually working against us every step of the way.
Thank you. Megan Malachi here from Black Resistance DNC. Kwame Rose for the Real News Network.